Welcome back to the ZERT Coffee and Chaos podcast, a show where we talk about anything and everything relating to what it means to be a survivalist and a prepared individual in today's society. I'm your host, Chris Bartagone. With me, as always, my co-host, Jamie Franks. Jamie, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good because it's only 18 more days until Hans Gruber falls off of Nakatomi Towers.
That's right. The true holiday movie. I got to say that I think I might have told you this last year. There is a slight addition to the Christmas lineup that I went and saw last year, and I bought it when it came out, and it was Violent Night.
Yeah, I think I did too. I didn't see it and then decide to buy it. I do most of my watching and streaming on my Apple TV, and so when it first came out, I just wanted to watch it. And Apple TV is weird. On some movies, you can like rent them for $4.99 or whatever when they come out. But some of them, if you want to watch it, the only way to watch it is to buy it. So I bought it, and it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it's funny. People are like, this is not a Christmas movie. I'm like, it's 100% a Christmas movie. He is Santa Claus. He has reindeer and everything. And there's Christmas magic and AR-15s and brutality. I wish they kind of elaborated a little bit more on what his background is, right? Like they showed him, he had all of the Viking tattoos, and he went into, I've been given many names, and when he starts with it, it's, he's got his hammer. But if y'all haven't seen it and you want an enjoyable Christmas movie that is not Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, or Frosty, check out Violent Night. It's got David Harbour. I don't know. What's his name from Stranger Things?
From Stranger Things, yeah.
The cop from Stranger Things also played Hellboy in the remake of Hellboy. He's played a lot, actually. He's been in a lot of movies and a wide spectrum of things. But pretty entertaining movie. It's got some good laughs. So,
yeah, I think if nothing else, I would assume like if you've been around for 1,000 years breaking into people's houses, you probably have learned how to fight pretty good. So,
you're probably
maybe
right. Who knows? But yeah, who knows? Maybe they'll come out with a sequel to that. Hopefully they don't go too crazy, because movies these days, they just jump the shark right off the bat.
And not to get too far off topic, but there was another one that came out, like, you know how like Dante's Peak and Volcano came out at roughly the same time, and like Armageddon and Deep Impact. There was another like Santa Claus is a badass movie. I think it had Mel Gibson in it. That came out like around the same time, and I never saw that one. I was just going to ask if you did.
Yeah, no, I've not seen that. There is one out in the theaters right now called Silent Night, and it's got the dude who played RoboCop in the RoboCop remake, and I liked him. He was in a series, and I can't remember the name of that series either. I'm drawing a blank left and right here, but it's, again, Silent Night. He's wearing an ugly Christmas sweater in the movie poster. So
the movie I'm talking about is called Fat Man, and the summary is: a rowdy, unorthodox Santa Claus is fighting to save his declining business. Meanwhile, Billy, a neglected and precocious 12-year-old, hires a hitman to kill Santa after he received a lump of coal. So this one is a hitman is trying to kill Santa, and hilarity ensues, I guess.
That is, yeah, that's a stretch.
That's from 2021. So
so a couple of years older. I think Violent Night was last year, if I don't remember. But it wasn't. It actually did not. I don't think it came out around Christmas time. I don't know. I did go see it in the theaters, and I enjoyed it.
I watched it at Christmas time last year, and so I mean, without looking it up real quick, I don't know exactly when it came out, but I saw it for the first time like a couple of weeks before Christmas last year. But again, I watched it at home streaming. So
got it. Folks, if you are listening, this week's show will. And I believe from here on out, every show will be up on YouTube and on Spotify and Apple Podcasts at the same time. They will all be released, so you can watch it in you can catch it on 3 different platforms if you want to just listen to it on the way into work, or if you want to watch it and check out the visuals that we occasionally will have, then you can do that on YouTube. If you are watching it over on YouTube, please make sure that you like and subscribe and hit the bell so you know when we are putting up new videos. That helps the channel and helps the channel grow. And as you can see, I am in a different type of setup today. We're trying a new setup, so please provide some feedback. We got the red and the blue in the back, so we're Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, as Jamie pointed out yesterday. Not only that was the second person. So learning lighting as we go. So we're trying to produce a better experience for you all. So thank you for your support. But in the spirit of the holidays, today we are going to probably do it's scheduled for a 2-part. We'll see where we get. But today's episode is the holiday buying guide for the tactical or survivalist in your life. Shouldn't be that hard if you're paying attention.
And I mean, I think I don't think it would be hard at all to turn this into a 2-parter, but I think if we just pull our strings and let it go, we could probably turn this into a 5-parter without too much trouble.
The show and tell part can be an entire episode.
Yeah, itself. You know, I like everybody. I'm a little bit of a gear queer. I love gear. I love little gadgets and tools, and so I mean, I could go on and on all day. So
sure. And it's funny, just if you scroll through YouTube and you start watching certain videos, the rest of them just kind of populate, right? So I watch a lot of videos when it comes to camping and different camping gear and gadgets out there. And literally this morning, I think his name is Dan Becker. He's got a pretty good camping channel and he does a lot of gear review. And he showed me, or the video showed me, a new sleeping pad pump that is about, I don't know, it takes the CR123 battery and it takes one of them. So
I think I know exactly what you're talking about, and I have it on my Amazon wish list that probably nobody cares about. But.
It's brand new. It's by a company called Flextail, and
that's it.
Yeah. So I followed the link today, and it brought me right to the website, and it was $49 with the rechargeable battery. Cool thing is, it'll take your CR123, so your batteries for your flashlights, and some of the upgrades that it's done over some of the previous models, and I have one made by Climate. I'm a big fan of Climate's products. I brought them in to try and sell them on Clark Armory, and they just did not move very well. But if you're a camping guy, that's Jamie showing
that's my Amazon wish list, and there's the Flextail thing right there.
Right. So I think that was last year's model. If you look up the Flextail Zero, I don't believe it's on Amazon, so you're going to have to find it on the website. You can check that out and take a look at it. But I love watching those videos, and it would be great to put out continued content, not so much a podcast episode, but just continued content here on the channel to discuss some of the stuff that everybody is out there looking for. I was talking to our mutual friend in Arizona yesterday, and I was talking about doing a video on a Glock. And he was like, do we need another video on a Glock? And I'm like, probably not, but they continue to be made and people continue to watch them. Whether you watch them for 5 minutes, 5 seconds, or its entirety, you may pick up something that you didn't before. The reason why I'm wanting to make a video is, I have a 43X and I have a 48, and I can't for the life of me figure out why people would take the 43X over the 48. And that statement will end right there, because that could be an entire episode just in itself.
Yeah. But I mean, to your point, though, I mean, like Glock has the new Glock 49 coming out, which I'm sure is
yeah.
going to be like the new hotness at SHOT Show, and it's going to burn up social media soon. It's the gun I've been asking for years.
Yep.
It's basically a long slide Glock 19. It's basically the 19 frame with a 17 slide on it. I've been asking for that gun for probably the last 10 years. I've always said, like, I never understood why Glock doesn't make this gun. Why did they take the 17 and put the 19? But
Right, make the 19X. Well, and they did that for. I mean, we know why they did that. They did that for the military, and I don't think that they were probably ever going to do that unless they were trying for that military contract. I think it ended up getting some traction, and that's why they made the 45. Now the 49, I'm not going to give out too much, but there's a little something happening with the 49 over here. Yeah. It started with a 17, and I didn't really like the 17 because it doesn't work as a carry gun. So when they came out with this 49, it's been on the radar. So I don't want to give too much away, but keep an eye out for what we're talking about here. We will definitely do a show about it. But it's been very hard to track down. I can tell
the only
you that.
the point I was making is, like, do we need another Glock video? Like, well, Glock's coming out with some new stuff. They're coming out with some new stuff that I am personally interested in. But also, one of my most viewed videos on my YouTube channel is how to take a Glock 22 or a 23 and convert it to 9mm. So you can take a Glock 22 and with just a couple of relatively inexpensive parts, you can convert it to 9mm and basically have two guns in one. You can turn your 22 into a 17. You can turn your 23 into a 19 relatively inexpensively. And like that's nothing new, but that's one of my most viewed videos on my YouTube channel. So
it one of the cool things is being able to just take what you just said and transition that right into our episode today. So I'm going to start at the end of my top 5 items. And because it was at the end, but you make it work so well, Jamie. So listen, if you can't figure out what to get that special person, go with a gift card. Go with a gift card to one of these places on the internet, Brownells, Midway, Clark Armory, wherever they sell parts like this, and give it to that special someone. And I'll tell you why. And it doesn't only have to be that. I was going to talk about a holster. I was going to talk about a belt. I was going to talk about, but those things are very personal to the person that you're getting that for. They may have a specific holster that they like. So get them a gift card to that company's website, right? And I know that's kind of blah and bland, but if you're thinking about it and you don't know what to get, or you know that they want to do something very, very unique or specific, go with a gift card. Like if they have a Glock 19 and they want to get it all juiced up and slide cuts and optic cuts, get them a gift card to Alpha Dog Arms where they can do it, or your local, whoever does them around you. If you have a company that you've used in the past, or if they like somebody, get them a gift card to that. And that solves a big problem. You also, it's going to be hard to figure out how to get their firearm and send it off to get it wrapped up nice and juiced up for Christmas Day. But that's my first pick. What's yours?
Yeah. Well, just to piggyback on that, like that's a great thing, because like a person like me, I'm a very, very specific person, and I'm a very, very deliberate and intentional person. And when I get a new rifle or a new pistol or whatever it is, like I do, like, this may sound funny, but I do like weeks of research on what optic mount I want, and why do I want this one instead of that one, and which height do I need, and what am I setting this rifle up for, because I want it to be different than the other one that I have. And so if you're buying a gift for somebody, you have no way of knowing that kind of stuff, but they know. And that gift, and they probably already have something sitting in their cart on some website that you don't know about, because they're so that's a good one. So for when we were talking about this show, you and I agreed that we were going to do 5 things each. And for my framework, because like I said before, I could go on all day. I could make a top 5 list for EDC. I could make a top 5 list of camping gear. I can make a top 5 list of survival gear. I can make a top 5 list of shooting stuff. Like, so I tried to make things that would be good for anybody, male or female, anybody that has an interest in camping or hiking or prepping or just outdoors in general. So I tried to think of things that would be good for anybody. I wanted to do things that I actually have and have used and would recommend to somebody else. And the most expensive thing on my list is $250. So most everything on my list is under $100, but the one most expensive thing on my list is $250. So I'm gonna start with this is like one of my stupid little hobbies that I have. Like I like to go on Kickstarter and find like interesting things that people have invented and support them. And one of those things, it was 2 years ago. This was on Kickstarter, and it's called the MODL Infinity Tool. And because I have it configured like this, it looks like the little infinity symbol.
Sure.
But it's basically like a rubber band with holes in it, and it comes with this little clasp.
Okay.
And I backed this on Kickstarter 2 years ago, and the campaign got supported, and they went into production, and like so now they have a website, and you can just buy these now. I have like reordered more of them twice because like I found that like I use them for everything, and now they come in several different colors. They come in a glow in the dark one. I'm boring, so I just have tactical black because for whatever reason, whatever material they're made out of, the black ones are the most expensive. They come in 8-inch and 16-inch lengths, and every like a 4-pack of these. So if you got, let's just say you got 2 8-inch and 2 16-inch, you would get 4 of the bands, and each band comes with a clasp. So you'd get 4 bands and 4 clasps, as $35. And so you can put it like around a piece of gear or whatever, and you cinch it down, and then you like lock it in. And since I've had these, I found that I use these for so many things, and you can use it, add it to your EDC because you can use it like a carabiner. They're very, very strong. I used it like I have one in my range bag, and so one day I was at the range and it started raining, and I used this to like hang my range bag up to keep it out of the mud. I've used it to roll up like my rain jacket, like roll it up really tight and then wrap this around it and clasp it, and so it fits nicely in my backpack.
Do they make them in different sizes?
The only 2 sizes are 8-inch and 16-inch, but you can double them up. So like I use one of these for my scuba gear. So when I go on the scuba boat, I band up all my scuba gear into a nice tight little package, and you can band 2 of them together to make them super long, or you can cut them down. And like on the website, it shows people like wearing it as a bracelet with the little clasp. And so then it can become an EDC accessory, but super cool. You can use it for a million different things. I bought them just kind of by chance, fell in love with it, and have bought several more. And now this year they have come out. When they first came out, this was like the only clasp attachment that they had. And now they've come out with a hook. They've come out with one that's just a stud. They've come out with a different version of this that's actually easier to hook. So actually, I just bought some more, but it's inexpensive. Anybody can use it. And it's something that I personally own and use and recommend. So it's MODL, MODL Infinity Tool, and the website is modloutdoors.com.
Well, and so for obviously for this episode and any other future episode that we're talking about products like this, we will make sure to link all of that of these products in the description below on YouTube. I don't believe that can happen on the podcast, so on Apple or Spotify. But if we can, we will. If not, just head over to YouTube and you can find the links that we're talking about. All right. So now, is that just one item? So you're recommending that one item? Because I did this a little bit different.
Yeah. So I don't know where you're leading into, but like if to the listener and to a friend or family member, like I highly recommend this little thing. Sure. I would say go to the website, get the 4-pack. It's $35. You get 2 8-inches and 2 16-inch bands and 4 clasps, $35. And then if you like it, buy more. But yeah, that's my That's my first item I'm leading off with. I don't know where you're
All right. So my next item, it's more of a category, and and the reason I'm going with the category is because you, the listener, know the person you're buying for, and you know what they have, what they don't have. But I'm going with the knife category. You can always, I mean, I used to do it for many years. I would buy my father a pocket knife for Christmas or for his birthday, whatever it may be. I went with the knife. And every single day, whether it's an EDC, I mean, I carry a excuse me, I carry a Kershaw. Well, I carry, but that's why I just went with a category and not a specific brand. Right there, was that Spyderco?
Emerson.
Okay, all right. And so this is a Kershaw. So I'm carrying a Kershaw today. I have zero tolerance. I have Benchmade. I have Microtech. A bunch of different ones, but it's an everyday item and it's a great gift. You can spend $50. You can spend $350 on a pocket knife, a folder, as we call them. So that's kind of what I went with. The other thing that falls under the knife category, again, an EDC type of situation, and this is going to be Velcro. So there we are. The Leatherman, just another tool. I'm
not laughing at you. I'm laughing for a very specific reason, and I'll explain myself in a minute. But it's so funny that you did it. No,
yeah,
no.
Oh, okay. But so there's a million different multi-tool companies out there. Gerber, Leatherman, SOG, Kershaw. There's a bunch of them. They and in the different brands, they have a million different models. Mm-hmm. This one here is unlike the others, where it's not fold open, where it's just a protruding. Mm-hmm. They got to do it this way, right? So just and then all of the blades and everything are on the side. Again, a great thing to keep in the vehicle. This one's on my desk sitting next to me in the bags. Just a great piece of gear to have. I don't carry a multi-tool. I used to, but now I've just opted for the knife. I mean, at the end of the day, MacGyver carried a Swiss Army knife. That is the the modern version of the Swiss Army knife, but I went with the knife category. And then obviously the last one, kind of near and dear to me right now, is the Dead Moose Ops, or the DMO Knives, if you've been around for a minute. But this is a fixed blade. This is their crossbreed, and it is a workhorse. If you have a guy outside that's an outdoorsman and likes to go camping, this goes with me when I go camping all the time. I have one at the house. I use it to split kindling, small logs. It's a lot easier and safer to use with an axe at times, especially if there's bourbon involved. But in the knife category, there's different tools. There's another company out there called BitBar, which sells this little multi-tool that has a bunch of bit drivers, and you can put it in your pocket, and you can use, if you're looking for a little bit bar and like having screwdriver bits and Allen keys and whatnot. There's a bunch of different things. So I threw the knife category out there because you can literally spend from probably $29 to $500, depending on what that person is looking for. I guess I chose a little bit of a different route, where I gave just a generic category and some options in there. If I know somebody has a pocket knife, a folding pocket knife, I may opt to go with a fixed blade or a multi-tool.
So when you pulled out the knife, I agreed with you. When you pulled out the multi-tool, I laughed. When you pulled out that last knife that you just had there, I went deadly serious, because I want one of those with Paul Taylor's face engraved on it. That's not a joke. But no, so I had a knife on my list, and if I were to recommend a specific knife that like this knife would make a great gift for anybody, I would recommend an Emerson CQC7. I've carried Emerson knives in my pocket like literally since I joined the Navy in 1998. I'm a really big I hate to say fanboy because I like their knives for a reason. Their knives are very high quality, but stand up to very, very hard use. And you know, knives are kind of like guns, where a knife that's cheap is cheap for a reason, and a knife that's expensive, for the most part, is expensive for a reason. With it to a point. I mean, I sold a knife. I had a knife that I bought it for about $300 about 10 years ago, and I sold it to a collector last year for $5,000 because it was worth that much to that person. But Emerson knives are good. But I wanted to cap my list at I wanted the most expensive thing on my list to be $250, and an Emerson CQC7 is about $275. But yeah, I agree with you. A watch and a knife is a good thing to give to a man. Like any man should want a watch or a knife. But also, this goes back to something I referenced on the other part. Like, why don't women carry pocket knives? Like,
great.
Buy the woman in your life a pocket knife.
Yep, and that's what I was just about to say. I'm glad you went there with that. And again, a pocket knife is not just for a man. You buy it for a woman, or I'm going to take it a step further, like kitchen knives. And I'm not just saying for a woman, for a guy as well. If you like to cook, and there's companies out there that are making some beautiful Damascus kitchen knives, like chef knives. That's a great gift.
Don't make me break out my Amazon wish list again, because I have the Shun. I think it's Shun.
There you go.
SHUN kitchen knives on my Amazon wish list too. And I'm a man, damn it.
Exactly. I mean, Dead Moose Ops. There's actually another knife coming. I was hoping to, and I may share a picture of it. I showed you yesterday, but it's their Orca, and I told Jen, the owner over there, that I'm definitely going to use that for cooking. So that's my category number 2. So I started with the end, and now number 1 is knife. So gift card was first. The knife collection is the second, and that can fall with fall under many different things. Can fall under that knife collection, whether it's a multi-tool, a fixed blade, a folder, all of that can be encompassed under there. It falls on you to figure out what that person in your life is looking for or needing.
And just quickly, the reason I laughed at the multi-tool thing is because this is like something that, like, just in the last year, I've just suddenly realized after 26 years in the Navy. Like, the multi-tools are something that I have just been issued again and again and again and again and again. And so now, like, I've got a multi-tool in my car, and I've got a multi-tool in my go bag, and I've got a multi-tool in my flight bag, and I've got a multi-tool in my SAR bag, and I have a multi-tool in my bedside table. And like, I have multi-tools coming out of my freaking ears because, like, everything I've done in the Navy and every command I've been at, they've all issued me multi-tools. And
they're great.
Well, but you know how people are, like a person like me, like I pick the number one. Every one I've gotten has been different. It's not like I have 30 of the same one. It's, like you said, like, this command issued me a Gerber, that command issued me a Leatherman, this command issued me the Leatherman EOD, this command, and so I, like, all the ones I have are different, but I have the one that I like, that I actually use. And then, like, every other backpack and bag and everything that I own has multi-tools, like, all stashed around. So at some point, I'm going to realize in my life that I don't need all these multi-tools, and I'm going to have to do something with them all. But yeah, multi-tool is a great thing. I just laughed because don't buy me a multi-tool, because I already have like 20 of them that have been issued to me by the Navy.
Right. And so, all right, what's your next item?
My next item is something I have referenced on the podcast before, and I actually tried to work that into my little criteria. I was going to try to not do things that I've referenced before, but this one is too good. This is, I would say, and I don't mean this as a pejorative, but I think most quote unquote regular people have never been to SHOT Show before, because SHOT Show is not like a regular gun show. You have to be an industry professional to get into SHOT Show. So probably, I would wager probably most people that are listening to this podcast have probably never been to SHOT Show before. Maybe a few have, but everybody is familiar with it through social media. It always gets tons of social media exposure. and there's all these like super extreme things that are at SHOT Show that happen at SHOT Show. There's a 338 Lapua Magnum minigun, and that's not what my next item is. But out of all the super cool, super extreme stuff I saw at SHOT Show last year, the best thing that I saw at SHOT Show, I made a list of 6 things that I saw at SHOT Show last year that I said I personally want to own these 6 things, and this was number 1 on my list. It's the Mantis Blackbeard.
There it is.
Training system for some paperwork just fell out, but it's for your AR-15, and it turns, the genius of this thing is it turns your AR-15 with your optic, your trigger, your grip, your configuration into a laser training device, and then you can partner it with the Mantis X app or the Mantis Laser Academy app, and you can actually get an incredible amount of legitimate training value out of it. Paul Taylor also said that it and he's completely right. Like, you can use it to dry fire, like clearing your house and figuring out like firing angles and the best way to enter this room and stuff in your own house. You could use it for, as long as you're careful, you could use it for like force on force kind of stuff. But I have just used it here at home with my different rifle setups because it's your optic, your trigger, your grip, your configuration. Like, I do like the ZERT pistol, it's the ZERT training pistol, but it's like, that's not really your pistol. It's its own full thing. So, but the Mantis Blackbeard, it turns your rifle, however your rifle is configured, your trigger, everything. You use your trigger, your optics, you pull the trigger, it resets your trigger. So no matter what trigger you have, it'll work. And I have used this thing to death. I've only had this, I don't even think I've had it for a year yet, and I've used it to death. I would highly recommend it. The website is Mantis, MANTISX.com, and the product is the Mantis BlackbeardX. I can't say enough good things about it. Out of every cool, awesome thing at SHOT Show, weapons that cost thousands of dollars that I'll never be able to afford, that was the coolest thing I saw at SHOT Show last year. I can't recommend it enough for anybody that's serious about training. So my number 2 item is the Mantis BlackbeardX.
Okay. All right. And then I'm going to continue on with my category, my number 2 category, which would be a bag. And that, I know that's a very vague description of what it would be, but again, go back to what your person needs, right? There's companies out there. Vertex obviously is a brand that everybody is familiar with. Eberly stock, and I'm sure there's probably some other ones as far as like Victos or Vitkos, however you pronounce that. They all have a version of a bag. You can go as simple as a JanSport and be super gray man, but all of those options, or all of those, 511 is another one. They all have bag varieties that will suit that person that you're looking for. But again, it comes down to you figuring out what that person needs. Vertex offers a great backpack. It's kind of my new favorite backpack. It's their Ready Pack. And it's their previous model, not the new one that's out. Although the new one's not bad, but I like the last version. Very unsuspecting colors. It's like a coral reef color. Again, not something that is going to catch the eye. It looks like you're going to philosophy 101 class at the local community college like I went to. But they also have a great range bag. It's called the COF. It's the heavy range bag. They make a heavy one and a light one. When you go to the range, and whether you're taking multiple guns or one gun, you want to have some stuff with you as far as cleaning gear, cleaning equipment, eyes, ears. Having a range bag is important. There's many out there to choose from. All of these, and Jamie's giving you very specific items. I'm giving you vague categories, and it requires you to do a little bit of due diligence on your side. Your loved one is probably giving you hints throughout the year. Pay attention, and this will be really easy for you. So I went with the bag category, whether it's a backpack, whether it's a range bag, whether it's a sling bag, whether it's a fanny pack. There are tons of good deals out there. There's tons of good products out there. And you can go a step further into luggage. I know that like everyone's like, huh, what luggage? A good suitcase is super important. And if you find a good one, it'll last you through all of the TSA beatings, all of the trips that you want to take. But having the right gear is important. We don't always need to talk tactical gear. Away luggage, somebody turned me on to them a couple of years ago, and their suitcases, they're not cheap, $200-300 for a suitcase, but again, you buy once, you cry once, and then if that $300 lasts you a decade, break that out, correlate that value.
And if the shooter / gun owner in your life, if like 5 minutes before you go to the range, they're taking their Milwaukee tool bag and like dumping it out, and then putting their guns and stuff in the Milwaukee tool bag that their cordless drill was just in 3 minutes ago, like my dad, right. Love him to death. He desperately needed a range bag, because when I was at home back in North Carolina, we were going to go to the range one day, and that's literally what he did. He dumped all his tools out of his, like, it was either a DeWalt or a Milwaukee tool bag. I can't remember which, but yeah. So that's what they call a tell, that somebody needs a good bag of whatever style, an EDC bag, a range bag, and yeah, luggage is after we went to SHOT Show last year. I brought my daughter with me, and after SHOT Show, she was like, "Dad, I want a suitcase like yours." And now she has one. But yeah, it is an important thing that's not necessarily tactical.
Right. Yeah. And it's funny, in recent events, if you will, and I don't know if you remember this company or not, but Fight Soap has made a reemergence back into the scene, and I love it. They were a local company here in Connecticut, Bond.
I didn't know that.
Yep. In Southington, Connecticut, Bond, the former owner of Fight Soap, is where he made his soap, and it gained some great notoriety. What I love about it is the guys who bought it are the guys that own Tactical Baby Gear. And if you're not familiar with that company, it's awesome. Just look it up. I mean, tacticalbabygear.com. It's all of the stuff we talked about not to wear in the Gray Man thing, but it's like the Molly bag, diaper bag, right? Like with the baby wipes, pouch, and the baby carrier that's sitting in the front with the Molly straps. But hey, it's for the new dad, the new tactical dad. But all right, that's my number 2. What do you got?
All right, so my number 3, we're going back to something I discovered a few years ago on Kickstarter, and just fell in love with it. And it's good for prepping, it's good for bug out, it's good for camping, it's good for hiking, it's good. It's called FireBox Stoves, and I have 2 of them here with me because I bought this one on Kickstarter. This was the little miniature one that they first came out with, and I'll open it in the very nice little leather pouch that it comes in. And it's like a camp stove, and this one is in it comes in this little, it's in the leather pouch, but then it comes in the metal case, and you open it up.
Cool. Yep.
And then it pops open into this little stove, and they made it where you can burn wood in it, you can burn charcoal in it. If you know it, like one of my favorite things is I use a Trangia spirit burner. A lot of people don't even know what that is, but you can look it up. But you can use a Trangia spirit burner. There's one version, I think there's a version of like it's the butane stove. The butane stove will fit in it if you want, but it's a little survival stove. I bought the little one, and the little one is good for boiling water, and cooking small things, and mostly boiling water. So if you had like the little backpacking meals or whatever, and you wanted to boil water for those or cook ramen noodles, it's good. But then I liked the little one so much that I went to their slightly bigger one. And this one, like if anybody follows me on Instagram, like you can look on my Instagram page, and there is pictures of me camping and cooking steak and lobsters on this one. So this one is a little, there we go. So this one's a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
But like you can see it's charred and everything, because I mean I have actually used both of them to cook stuff on, and these are they're fun. I think this almost falls into the category of like bushcraft almost. Camp cooking. It's great for camping. It's great for minimalist camping, hiking, backpacking, survival, bug out, bag, whatever. I've actually now kind of made it where the bigger one is the one that I actually use the most when I'm camping and stuff. And then I put the small one in my little bug out bag. But I have used them both. I have actually cooked with both of them. And then the guy that owns the company that invented this thing has a fantastic Instagram page, and it's FireBox Stoves as well. And he like shares recipes and videos of him cooking on it, and he's a way better camp cook than I am. I'm pretty good. He's a wizard. But FireBox Stove, the big one that I just held up is $65, and the small one is I don't know, it's less than that, but they're very reasonably priced. They're an extremely good quality piece of kit. The website is fireboxstove.com. And like I said, the big one that I held up that I said I used the most, that one's $65. And it's a real neat gadget to buy for the person in your life that, like I said, is a camper, hiker, prepper, survivalist, bug out bag person, whatever. I love it. So anyway.
Now, I don't know if this just means that we talk too much, we hang out too much.
I definitely talk too much, but that may be a separate issue.
Yeah, I mean, together, you're right. But what's next on my list is Firestarter / camping gear, and sitting here in this little pack from Max Pedition is my fire kit. So to kind of just piggyback on there it is, same thing right there. Boom. Jamie has what I have listed up here. Now, what's cool is, for that person, that individual, like this in itself is a great gift. It's just a little zip open pouch that has a bunch of little elastic straps in it. If you wanted to really impress said person, you could fill it up with items that are in here. Again, like whether they're stocking stuffers. I mean, this is a great stocking stuffer right here. Just make an entire stocking stuffer of fire starting kit for, again, camping and or survival situation. You got, what is this? This is fast fire stick. This giant stick where you just cut pieces of that off and you use that. This is company, it's all over social media, Blackbeard Firestarter. This is char rope, and it is just in a sealed up situation. Obviously you can't go wrong with matches. Listen, we talk about it all the time. Bic lighter, here's something, and I mean, this is my ferro rod, Uber. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Uberleben. Pretty easy to pronounce, actually. Look at that. But this is the ferro rod that I have. They make multiple sizes, multiple thicknesses of this. I have this long one, and then I have a second one of these little pouches that hold the smaller one. This one I keep in my truck. The other one I keep on the motorcycle, just in case. In here there's also some fire plugs. All of these things are a great gift to get somebody. One of the other things I talked about this the other day is this little thing right here. Found this on Amazon. We'll link it in the description below. Company is REIDEA. And you can see it looks like a vape pen, a little bit longer than a vape pen. Little blue button. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but no, not going to work. I mean, it's working. So
hold it in front of your. There you go. Hold it in front of your shirt.
Okay. Oh yeah, there it is.
There you go.
So it creates like an arc across, and I mean, I was using it to sear the ends of the paracord that I was cutting open the other day, and it's great without a flame, and it works awesome. But the other thing that I have in there as just part of the gift is the ferro rod, the tinder, the fire starting kit or the pouch. all of those would be a great gift to the outdoorsman person in your life, whether they are just getting into it, whether they just need some replacement. Like if you run out of the fire plugs and whatnot, get them some more. There's a couple companies, like we just said, Fast Fire Stick, Blackbeard, Exotac is another one. There's a bunch of good companies out there. We've talked about them before, so that's why Jamie is kind of chuckling, because it's something we have talked about.
I'm laughing because the next thing on my, I've given up to this point, I've given specific, like, a specific SKU or a specific product. The next thing I was going to say was, let's see if I can hold them all up, just Exotac stuff.
Oh yeah, there it is.
So, because like this again, for somebody that's a Cub Scout, a Boy Scout, a Girl Scout, that's into camping, that's into backpacking, that's into prepping, that's into survival, that's into bushcraft, these things, and like Exotac specifically, I love these guys. I don't have any official relationship with them. I wish I did, because I could get this stuff. I would be able to get this stuff without having to spend my money on it. But their products are just really beautiful. They're like
Exotac,
each one of their products.
Listening.
Yeah, Exotac. Each one of their products is like a work of art. I mean, like it's all this like really high grade, like really nice finished aluminum. This is one of the products. This is one of my favorite ones. It's the Nano Spark.
Yep.
It has like you put a little fire plug in the handle.
Yep.
And then it's like the flint striker part of a Bic lighter, right, just without the butane fuel. This is the fire sleeve. I literally carry this in my pocket every single day of my life, everywhere I go. And basically this just takes a Bic lighter and it makes it waterproof, and it makes it where if you drop it in the water, it floats, but also it makes it so when you light the lighter, you don't have to hold your thumb up on this part and burn your thumb, and you can just have the lighter lit and hold it at an angle and do whatever you need to do without burning yourself, and you don't have to worry about how long it's lit up. And but everything on Exotac's website, or everything fire related, runs from $15 all the way up to $70. One of their more expensive items is this one, which I also love. This is $70. This is basically Exotac. It's their Titan light, and it's their kind of reinterpretation of like a World War I trench lighter, and it's like a Zippo. You put regular lighter fluid in it, but it's really beautiful. It's round, it's smooth, it fits in your pocket. And the thing I found, it's very similar to a Zippo, except I like Zippo lighters because they're neat. They're like a manly thing to have. But I'm constantly having to put fuel in my Zippo lighter. These don't dry out because they're sealed up. So the fuel never evaporates. So depending on how much you use this, you're not going to have to refuel it constantly like a Zippo. You can keep it in your pocket. And I'm actually a little bit surprised that this worked. I've not put fuel in this thing in over a year, and it's still good to go.
One of my other favorite things that they have is the waterproof match holder.
Oh, this thing right here.
There it is, right there. Yeah, I thought that you were holding it up. I mean, again, another very beautiful piece of machinery, I guess, or very beautiful piece of machined metal there, and it holds your waterproof matches. It also, I believe, has a striker piece on it, right, where you can strike the match.
It's the match cap and the match cap XL, and I have them both right here. And they're I really do. I love their stuff. They're very, to me, like I would almost say they're like underpriced. I don't know, like again, like the Titan light. I mean, at $70, I think they could probably sell it for more. But all their stuff is just, I can't say enough good things about Exotac, and I'm not affiliated with them at all. I would love to be, but their stuff is really nice, and I think that's a gift, again, like I said at the top, where I think you could pretty much give that to anybody, and anybody is going to be like, wow, this is really nice, this is really cool. And my personal thing on Christmas morning, you talked about giving a gift card at the top, which is good, and it's very utilitarian, it's very fine, but I love getting a gift that I can play with. I love getting something I can play with on Christmas morning, like, so right. Yeah, so that was my it's funny that my little FireBox camp stove played into your next recommendation, and then my next recommendation with it. But yeah, I also, just to back up Chris's point again, I have 2 fire kits.
Oh yeah,
I have a big one and a small one, and
Yep.
but it's probably gonna, if you wanted to replicate my fire kit, it's gonna cost you a little bit. But
well, and again, I think that's the part that is awesome, because you can start with just the kit.
Yep.
And if that person in your life has some of the stuff that goes in it, then great. Then give them something that, like you just said, they're not emptying out a Ziploc bag of all their fire stuff. It's really awesome to go camping and to be able to just grab a single kit here. Looks like we lost a light in the background, so we're just red at this point. I don't know what happened, but I can assume that it's battery powered and battery went out. But
well, I know what somebody needs for Christmas.
That's right. Hopefully everyone can still see me here, so it is what it is. But so if it's just the kit, then that's great. If it's a kit and some fire plugs, again, there are plenty of small little things that you can add to this. Put in a stocking as a stocking stuffer, and I'm sure that person would love it. So ferro rods are finite.
I mentioned this on the last podcast. I mentioned Super SA straps, and I didn't even mean to get into this, but like on the front of my fire kit, I have this little patch, and this is another product by Super SA straps. And it's a little patch kit. So all these little tiny words that you see there, fire, saw, like there's a little slit cut on the back of the patch.
Oh, nice.
And this little morale patch is in and of itself a little fire kit. So you could have this like on your hat, and this is a little fire kit that you can carry with you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I didn't intend, that was an extra. That's a bonus. I didn't.
That is a bonus. So I think before we get to, you have how many left?
I have one left.
You have one left, and I have one left. I think what we're going to do is we're going to do some honorable mentions, and then, I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Do we save our last one for next week? Is it enough, or do we just keep going with it?
No, I wouldn't say my last one is enough to
okay. So
bridge in next week necessarily.
All right. So then I will, so my last one, because again, I used the gift card there as the first one. So my next one is a light source, a flashlight, a headlamp.
Oh, man, I thought you meant lightsaber.
Oh, or a lightsaber, or a light that doesn't run out of battery at the end of the show. But anyway, no, a light source. When you and I were talking about this, it was like, okay, stuff that I use every day. Well, every single day I carry a flashlight. There you go. You have a flashlight as well. There's different companies out there: Streamlight, Surefire, Olight, Nightstick. Who else am I missing? I don't know. I'm sure I'm missing a couple other ones. You can spend anywhere from $20 to $200 on a pocket flashlight, depending on what brand, how many lumens, whatever it is. This one that I'm carrying is it's so beat up and it's so worn, is the ProTac 2LX by Streamlight. I've been carrying this light for years. The finish is off. It's dented up on the front. I mean, it's a workhorse.
Yep.
You can't go wrong with this. I use this more than probably anything. When I travel on an airplane and my firearm, my knife, it's in the belly of the airplane. This is in my pocket. So many times people are like, "Oh, you carry a flashlight every day?" Yeah, every single day. And
every day.
It, right. And I use it almost every day.
Yep.
So you can't go wrong with a flashlight. And now you take that a step further, and I talked about a headlamp. I go camping. Whether you go camping, whether you go running, walking at night, in the morning, having a light source is impossible. You don't want to be standing there running around with a flashlight. A good headlamp is key. Again, you can spend $29 up to $200 on whatever brand. Surefire has their Minimus and their Maximus. I have both. I sold both, and I love both. The Minimus is single CR123 battery powered, and I think it's like 300 lumens. And then the Maximus is 1,000 lumens, and it's rechargeable. It's a little bit obnoxious on your head, but you want to light up the campground at night, and when you're cooking, there you go, hands free, you're good to go. And then we talked about stocking stuffers and other items, and I know that you and we saw something really cool last year, and I buy these regularly. They're in my wish list all the time. They're a great a great option, especially on the campsite, but it is the Chem sticks, Chem Lights, whatever you want to call them, glow sticks, whether you want to go to a rave, whether you want to just light up an area. They are a great tool to have. Like I said, there's different brands out there. This one is made by Tac Shield. There is, I'm going to butcher the name, but it starts with a C and a Y. Sialoom. Yep, there it is. But I buy them on Amazon, and they go they're in the EDC bag, they're in the get home bag, they're in the 72-hour bag, they're in the, big giant case that you're going to run out of the house with. They're all over the place. When I do go camping, we hang these all over the place. They're great light sources, and they're not obtrusive. Is that a word? It's a word for today.
Yeah, and they do expire though. So if you're using them for some sort of survival kit or go bag or whatever like that, keep in mind that if you're sticking them somewhere in some sort of emergency kit, they do expire. And like, I always kind of make jokes that like, your canned food has an expiration date on it, but that's because some lawyer like made them put it on there.
Right.
But like glow sticks actually do expire, and you can. One that's past its expiration date, you can open the package and break it, and it'll either barely light up or not light up. So the expiration date on glow sticks is real.
And now this has been sitting, I think, in the back of the warehouse for a while now. It is probably not as bright as it should be, but it definitely. And I'm sure if I look at this, I can probably find a expiration date. But this is a 6-inch 12-hour mil spec light. But that's it on my last thing. A flashlight. Again, look at what your person needs. Do they carry a flashlight every single day? Is it small? Is it not powerful enough? Does it not light up anything? Are they carrying a little dinky one on their flashlight? There's tons of options out there. Headlamps, same way. Chem lights, again, for that survival situation. We can get into a couple more of those things as far as lanterns. Again, we use those for camping. Some great battery powered lanterns. You pull them open and you have all the light in the world. But that would be my final item on my top 5, or I'll just say 5. I'm just going to say with my 5.
Mine isn't really a top 5 either. But I will add a couple of things. I was about to put a flashlight on mine. You made some really good points, and so I just want to say, like, for the flashlight that I carry every day, I have carried, as you'll find out in just a second as the story unfolds, I've carried one like this in my pocket for like the last 10 years. But I wanted a light that's incredibly bright. So this little tiny flashlight here is very, very bright. It's brighter than you would think it would be. It's powered by just one battery, which is what I wanted. I didn't want a light that had 2 or 3 batteries. I think what might be slightly more ideal is if it was a more readily available battery. Sometimes CR123s are hard to come by, but this comes in a nice tight little package. This is made by Nitecore. Nitecore, Nitecore. And is a Surefire light, better than this? Yeah. Is it more expensive than this? Yeah. But I'm really good at keeping up with things, but I carry this in my pocket every single day for the last 10 years, and I've lost a few of them. This light is incredibly bright. It has a strobe feature. It only takes one battery. It it's very low signature in my pocket. It's not uncomfortable to have in my pocket. It doesn't take up a whole bunch of space. It has a little pocket clip, which I like. So I've got my knife on my right side, my flashlight on my left side. It's bright enough to use for tactical purposes. And that plays into, like, a flashlight can be used for personal defense. Like some people can build up a resistance or almost an immunity to pepper spray. Nobody is immune to shining a bright light in their face and going,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
And so lights are very good use for personal defense. They're a great tool to have. Like you said, I use this. I bet you I use this once a day for something.
Right.
And yeah, so, but those are things I would keep in mind. Like, you don't have to spend it. I lost this, it's $30. So
Right.
if I can keep up with one for 3 or 4 years and I lose it, and then I have to go on Amazon and buy another one for $30, I'm not upset. If I lose a $300 Surefire light, I'm going to be pissed.
Right. And there's some debate out there about the quality over a Streamlight versus a Surefire, and going to war. This thing has been beat up, dropped, thrown, kicked, and it still goes. There's no issues with it at all. The like I said, the finish is coming off on the bezel up by the lens. Whatever, it still lights up the room. Going back to what you just said and kind of how you piggyback off of this, and to just finish off my list and then get to yours. This is a tool that I use every single day, multiple times a day.
Yep.
The knife is a tool that I use every single time, multiple times a day. Though that there's value in that. There's value in that. The fire thing, I don't use it every single day, right? But I use it. Again, the multi-tool, that's it.
How many knife fights have you been in?
Well, exactly, right? So clearly I just don't know what I'm talking about.
No, I thought you were going to say you get in a knife fight every day, like I do. I get in a knife fight every single. No, so
with cardboard. I get into a knife fight every single day with an Amazon box, and
exactly.
That's what I use.
That's the point I was trying to make. Is like, I'm from the South. I'm from North Carolina. My granddaddy carried a pocket knife in his pocket every single day, and so then my dad carried a pocket knife in his pocket every single day. I have carried a knife in my pocket for the most part every single day since I was about 7 years old. That's no joke. And I've been in 0 knife fights. So, like, when I moved to the West Coast, and you go out and you meet a girl, or you're going on a date, and the girl wants to go to a bar, and you're like, oh, I've got a pocket knife in my pocket, I guess I got to run back to my car real quick, and they look at you crazy, like, why are you carrying a knife? And it has 0 to do with the possibility that I might get into a knife fight. So I just wanted to throw that out there and make that point. Exactly. That a pocket knife is great for a man or a woman. I've never understood why more women don't carry a pocket knife, because it is something I use every single day. And I've gotten into 0 knife fights. So
there you go.
None of those daily uses are getting into a fight with the sharks or the jets.
Right. All right.
So my last one then?
Yep. Take us
All
home.
right. So my last one is something that is personalizable. You can personalize this one. And I think it's something neat, and it's something that, again, can be for a camper, a prepper, Boy Scout, Cub Scout, whatever. You can go to mapstore.mytopo.com and you can get a custom topo map of your neighborhood, wherever you live, wherever you work. And I think that's a pretty neat thing. Because it can be a personalized gift that you got for the outdoorsman or the outdoors person in your life. And they're about to get this map, which is a map of my neighborhood from U.S. Geological Survey, and it's a legit topo map. It's I think this scale is 1 to 24,000. So quick note on maps: a small scale map, what they call a small scale, is a larger area with less detail. So that's good for reference, but it's not good for, like, if you wanted to practice land nav or anything like that. And what they call a large scale map is actually zoomed in. It's a smaller area with greater detail. So this is a 1 to 24,000 map. So this one it's of my neighborhood, and this is good for land nav. It's good for reference, and it's neat. Maybe most people don't really know what their immediate area looks like on a map. And you're like, you might actually be closer to, like, on this map, I looked at this map, there's a lake near me called Lake Murray. And when you drive there, it takes 20, 25 minutes to get there, but it's like, holy crap, I could just hike over this
Right.
ridge back
Yeah.
here and I'd be at Lake Murray. And
Yeah.
so the map costs $26. And then if you wanted to pair that up with a good compass, this is another thing I have been issued several times in the military. That's why this one is still in the plastic, because I have one in my little E&E kit. I have one, my actual deployment plate carrier has one of these in it. But I've been issued so many of them that I do have a couple still laying around here that are still sealed in the plastic. But it's the Sunto MC2 compass.
Yep.
So if you got a personalized topo map with a compass, that's $100. The map is about $26. This compass is $70. You can there is a cheaper version. This is the one they issue us in the military. It actually is a really very good compass. This is a compass that's good for field work as well as working on the map, which are two different things. Like back in the day when I first joined the military, we were issued that you've probably seen them. They're like that army green, like metal compass that pops open, and that's what you would use for actual like navigating when you're actually traipsing through the bush. And then we would have like a Silva, what was it called? It's like a Silva Ranger compass, which was like a transparent. And so you have to use the Silva compass for like actually plotting on the map. And then when we were actually out in the bush, we'd have our big heavy duty metal Camillus, I think was the company that made it, but it was tritium. Nice. And I still have that laying around here somewhere too. But this one, years later, they came out with the Sunto MC2, and it's actually, it works good for both. It works good for plotting on the map, and it works good for actual use in the field. So my last item is custom personalized topo map of whoever you're giving the gift to. Get it of their neighborhood, 1 to 24,000 scale, and get them a compass, and then they can learn how to navigate, and they can learn something that they probably don't know about the area where they live.
Yeah, awesome, man, awesome, great gifts, great ideas, and we hope that you take this and you can use it. I've got, as we wrap this thing up, I've got 2 honorable mentions. One, because everybody loves coffee. Some ZERT Nation coffee. Boom. Yeah. But the other thing is something I got for myself a while back. And again, honorable mention, something to add to your toolbox, but it is a lockpicking kit.
I was going to put that on my list.
Yeah, and it comes with a it comes in this little pouch, and it comes with all these little picks, and it came with a clear padlock so you could practice how to pick locks. We are doing this as an educational thing and not a criminal thing, please. So it was something that I saw. It was sitting on my desk as we were about to record, and I said, you know what? It's not worthy of its own section, but it is a honorable mention. Again, folks, all of the things that we listed today and we talked about today will be listed below on the YouTube channel in the that little section below. I don't know how it works, but we're going to link all of this stuff so you can find it. I know that I talked in vague and in generalization as far as collections, so we'll just link a couple of brands, or I'm going to link a couple of brands that I like. Feel free to just use the idea and go from there. You can use the Google box just like any of us and find what you need. But I know that I appreciate you guys hanging out with us today. We hope that you are shopping early and we'll get your stuff before the big day. But until next time, folks, that's it from me. Make sure you stay safe out there. Don't be somebody's resupply, and treat them well for the holidays. Jamie.
My honorable mention, I said that out of everything I featured here today, the Mantis BlackbeardX was my most expensive item at $250. So I said I wanted my most expensive thing to be $250. I think a great honorable mention gift is getting somebody the gift of training, a training class. If you come and take one of my classes are $250 per student. And this is something, again, male or female, if there's a guy in your life that's already a shooter, this is something they can benefit from. And if there's a woman in your life that wants to get into shooting or is already a shooter, this is something they can benefit from. A lot of people fall into the trap of, I'm going to get my wife a gun and I'm going to teach her how to shoot. And let me tell you something. Even if you are the guy that shot bin Laden, your wife thinks you're a fucking idiot, and she's not going to listen to you if you try to take her shooting. Whoever is the current World Series of Poker champion cannot teach his wife how to play poker because she's not going to listen. So it's just a fact of life. What's the saying is familiarity breeds contempt. Like, so if you have a wife or a girlfriend that you want to get into shooting, get them a class. And if you're a male that likes to shoot, go take a class. Or if you're a woman looking for a gift for your man that likes to shoot, get him a class. That's also $250.
That's a great honorable mention.
Yeah, so that's my honorable mention. And
awesome.
And that plays into my plug at the end of the show to always get training. So purchase somebody training for Christmas, and just remember that it's easy to be hard, but it is hard to be smart.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.